monks of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. This is Swami Brahmananda, one of the senior monks. And merely seeing a great soul won't do. One must meditate and assimilate. One must have discrimination and dispassion. Oh, how joyful we lived with the Master at Dakshineshwar. Sometimes she would converse us with the side-splitting laughter by his witty talk. What we now cannot realize by meditation, we then attain automatically. If my mind went wrong by even a little, he would understand it from my appearance, and he would pass his hand over my chest and set it right. And how free I was with him. One day I was rubbing oil on his body in the semi-circular western porch. For some reason I got angry with him. I threw away the bottle of oil and stood off with the intention of never returning to him. I went out of the temple and came near Jadu Malik's garden house, and then I could not proceed further. I sat down. Meanwhile, he had sent Ramlal to call me back. When I came, he said, "Did you see? Could you go?" Once I did a wrong thing and became extremely penitent. I went to confess it to him. He asked me to follow him with his water jug. While returning, he said, "You did this yesterday. Never do so anymore." I was dumb with wonder. How could he know? Another day, when I returned from Calcutta, he said, "Why can I not look at you? Have you done anything wrong?" "No," I replied. I had forgotten that I had told a fib. "Did you tell any lie?" he asked me. Then I remembered I had. 1st June, it was Sunday afternoon at the Belur Math. Many devotees were sitting before the Swami. One of them asked, "Maharaj, how can one have a yearning for the Lord?" "Swami, you must first purify your mind by keeping the company of the holy men and devotees and receiving instruction from your Guru. Next, you must understand hard spiritual discipline. Only then will you feel yearning for God. One requires a teacher even when one wants to learn stealing. And this sublime Brahma Vidya, knowledge of Brahman, does not require a teacher to acquire it." Thus the Swami spoke for the time and then said, "When you go to a holy man, you must ask him question. Ask him whatever you want to know." Devotee, how can one have a peace? Swami, by loving God and by having a faith in him. You cannot have it at the very beginning. At first there must be a great restlessness. Your heart will be full of anguish at not having yet realized the God. But it is all right. The more thirsty you are, the better you will relish the water. You must create the restlessness. If there is none, when man no longer find any joy in the world, they feel restless and then they are attracted towards God. Devotee, how can one have love for God? Swami, by trying to realize Him through singing His name, praising and praying to Him, and thus have the sense realize Him. Devotee, can I not realize God while in the world? Swami, does anyone live outside the world? Devotee, I mean while living with one's family. Swami said that yes, you can, but with difficulty. Devotee, may one renounce the world when one feels vairagya? Swami, yes, he ought to, and that indeed is a true vairagya. This dispassionateness for all worldly things, when once you have it, it never dies. On the other hand, it grows like fire. After one has once come out of the world, one never wants to go back to it. Devotee, can I not do without a guru? Swami, I think not. No, you can never do without him. Who is a guru? He who points out the path to you by saying, giving you a fixed name to repeat. You may have many upaguru, subsidiary teacher. The real guru will tell you which discipline is undergo, and he will advise you to keep the company of the devotees. Formerly, it was customary for the disciple to live in the house of his guru, so that the guru could watch over the disciple and the disciple could serve the guru, and if the disciple went wrong, the guru could bring him back to the right path. Therefore, you should never make one your guru unless he is a knower of Brahman, the God, or very highly advanced in spirituality. But how am I to know that a person is such? Swami, you will know if you live with him for some time. The Guru also can then observe you. If you have much hankering after the world, which it would be difficult to check, he must not initiate you, but send you back. If you want to make any your Guru, have near him for some time and watch his ways. The system of hereditary Guru has the advantage that the Guru and the disciple both know each other's family history well. Practice is the means of concentrating the mind. Pranayama, the breath control, is also one of the means, but it is not safe for the householder if one is not content. One falls ill, and one must have nutritious food, a fine place, and pure air in order to have meditation and concentration. You must practice it in solitude. The more you will try, the more you will achieve. Wherever you find condition favorable, say if there is a fine serenity or scenery, sit down to meditate. Seek him and renounce kamani and kanchan, lust and gold. But first renounce internally. These are evanescent. Take your mind off them. God is with form and is also formless. And he is also above form and formless. What does Vedanta means by saying that the Brahman is true and the world is false? That the world as we see it now is a false. The world vanishes in samadhi, but you feel that you are experiencing a great joy. The rishis experience that absolute joy. What exists in samadhi cannot be explained. Then there is no longer I or thou, but only Satchidananda, experience, knowledge and bliss, absolute. If you ask me, what is the proof of God? I say that saints have stated that they have realized God, and they have also pointed out the way to his realization. The master used to say, merely saying hemp, hemp will not intoxicate you. You must procure hemp, prepare it and take it, and then wait a little. Only then would you feel the intoxication. Even so, merely saying God, God will not make you realize him. You must undergo a spiritual discipline and then wait a little. Devotee, while making a japa, repetition of the holy name, I sometimes forget to do so. Why is this? Swami Patanjali has said that this is an obstruction to yoga. To meditate is to think and become conscious of him. When meditation will be intense, when God will actually reveal himself, you will have samadhi. If you attain samadhi, the joy of it will persist for a long time. Some say for all times. Sri Chaitanya sent one of his disciples to Raminanda. The disciple found him rolling in luxury, but as soon as the name of the Lord was uttered, love welled forth from his heart like a fountain. And it is said that unless one is holy, one cannot know a holy man. Just as a petty brinjal seller cannot know the value of the diamond, if anyone realizes the high spiritual state through discipline, he himself can know it. During meditation, think that desire for worldly things are worthless. This will have a good impression on the mind. As you drive away the desire from your mind, good thoughts and feeling will come up. If you see the light or hear a supernatural sound during meditation, know that you are going on the right path, right direction. But do not attach any importance to these things, this light and sound, though they are good signs. While meditating in solitary place, you may sometimes hear the sound Om, or the ringing of the bells, or natural sound from afar. If Sankara prayed to the Divine Mother saying, "Thou art my refuge, O Mother," it was only an example for a man of the world to teach them that God can be realized through every means. Swami Brahmananda said to the Swami Maharaj, I have been thinking of asking you a question for some time. It is true that you saw some spirits in the Udbodhan office a few days before the passing away of his Swami P. Yes, I did. I sometimes see spirits. One day from upstairs I saw two very tall and robust figures standing near the western staircase, and they looked man-like. But there was a weird and bizarre aspect about them, and they disappeared very soon. But the sight made me anxious. I inquired if anyone had seen their ghost before. No, they had not. I saw such a spirit once, twice again, and I felt that some evil was imminent. I felt very sad at heart. A few days later, after P passed away, I saw the spirit in the house also near the yonder stairs. I felt that this passes evil. I went away to the mud. A few days after, his wife died. Disciple, I am told you saw a spirit also in Dhaka. Swami, yes, in the house where we stayed. On the second day of the arrival, there I saw it, looking like a Mussulman, standing at the door, and this made me sad, and I thought I would leave the house if I saw it again. But it did not appear anymore. Much singing of the holy names went on there, and that is perhaps why it fled. Evil spirit cannot stain the name of God. Disciple, it was the spirit perhaps which prompted his son to commit suicide. There was no apparent reason for his action, but the boy was feeble-minded and probably could not stand the spirit persuasions. I have heard of a family in which a lady committed suicide by hanging herself from the branch of a mango tree. Another lady after that began to gaze at the tree and one day suddenly committed suicide by hanging herself from that very tree. Another girl also began to gaze at the tree in similar way. A strict watch was kept over her, and she was asked why she gazed at the tree. And she said, someone from the yonder branch has been calling me to come and hang myself. The tree was at once cut down, and there was no further trouble. Maharaj, have you seen any more of them? Swami, I have seen both good and evil spirit while I was in Dakshineshwar with the master. A man at the temple fell very ill, and there was no one to look after him, so I nursed him for a few days, and one night, as I sitting near him, his suffering became intense. I did not know how to mitigate his suffering, so I thought that I would repeat the Lord's name for his relief. And after I had made japa for some time, a kind of slumber fell upon me, and I saw a vision. A girl about 12-year-old came and stood near me. I asked her, will he get cured? She nodded and replied yes, and vanished. Even from the very next day, the patient began to recover. I also saw a good spirit while I was living in Brindavan. The house where I lived was a lane which was called the Ghost Lane. Hari Maharaj, Swami Triyananda, occupied the next room to mine, and it was my habit in those days to get up at midnight and practice the japa. I would often notice the spirit of a Vaishnava standing by me, telling his beads. I saw him almost every night and was not afraid. One night, being very tired, I was sleeping heavily. Suddenly someone gave me such a push and I was thrown off my bed, and I heard someone saying, get up, it is already 12. Won't you make japa? and the push roused me. I heard the temple music indicating midnight play. If I were not awakened in this fashion, I could not have got up 12 that night. I had a beautiful vision also of Varanasi, Banaras. They were singing the Ram Nam in the main hall of the Seva Ashram. The singing of the first invocation had just begun when I saw an old man enter slowly and sit by the picture of Sri Rama. I had never seen him before, so I looked at him twice or thrice, and a few moments after I saw him no more. And I then remembered that Mahavira, the Hanuman, comes wherever the name of Rama is sung. Probably it was he that came. Tulsidas also had a similar vision. Disciple, what was that, Maharaj? Tulsidas used to pour water every day at the foot of the tree in which lived a spirit. Highly pleased, it appeared before Tulsidas one day and said, I am very pleased with you. Tell me what you want. He said, I want only one vision of Rama. Can you tell me how I can get it? It replied, it is not for me to get you that vision, but I may give you a suggestion. There is a place in Banarasi where the Ramayana is read every day, and Mahavira attends the reading regularly. Taking refuge in him, he can help you in having the vision of Rama. But how shall I recognize him? He arrives first in the guise of the old Brahmana and sits in the particular corner and is the last one to leave. Tulsidas accordingly went to the place and saw Mahavira came and sit in as indicated by the spirit. And when Mahavira was about to leave, Tulsidas clasped him and by feet and said, Oh, I recognize you. Graciously tell me where I can get the vision of Rama. After much entreaty, Hanuman said, Go to the Chitrakuta mountain. There you will see him. Tulsidas went to the Chitrakuta, and one night in deep forest he heard the sound of music coming from afar, and he inquired about it, and it was told that it was singing of a Ram Lila, and he went and found the place and saw Rama, Sita, and others sitting, and he thought they were actors, and the singing of Ram Lila going on. When he came back, he told others how he had enjoyed the singing of Ram Lila on the mountain top. They said, Are you mad? There is no habitation there. It is a deep wilderness. How can there be Ram Lila there? Tulsidas understood, and he had actually seen Rama. The disciple bowed at the feet of the Swami and left. So it's good. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Anyone have any comments? What part did you like? Alex, you are smiling, tell me.
Oh, I like these kinds of recollections. They're just interesting. I don't know, there's something about it that just takes you out of kind of the daily way of looking at things and reminds you that there's a different world out there than what we're used to.
Yeah.
These people have seen it. They've lived that, and it's there. They're just, you look beyond, like out of the corner of your eye. It's there. If you might not be totally attuned to it, but it's available.
Mm-hmm. That's right. How about Nancy? What do you think of that?
No, at first, well, I agree. I agree that the realm of possibilities that we don't encounter daily exists, and help from that realm is available. I do have to admit that the reading kind of reached the little elaborate stage, but I'm certainly not denying it either. I think we probably all have our own little stories that nowhere near that elaborate, but brush that same realm of possibilities that we all want to know about.
Mm-hmm. Vicky, you would like to make some comments?
Well, I think it's the first time that I recall hearing references to spirits or ghosts when all the tales that you've told us. So I thought that was interesting. Might be wrong, but seems like these stories don't often refer to beings who have died. So, and then, of course, I think that stuff is very interesting. But I'm with Nancy in that sometimes they're so dense with supernatural activity. You're just like, wait, what? What? So it does take, to Alex's point, a different level of presence to really listen to them and say, just listen. And they get to where they're not relationable anymore. Like, I cannot relate to it because it's so fanciful and elaborate and etc. So you just have to be like, just let it come at you. There's people have some very, very different experiences, and I think times must have been so strange 2,000-3,000 years ago, especially in a place maybe like India where they're just really developing the yoga system and all of that. It must have been, 90% of the people were ignorant of it, I'm sure, but that 10% that were, if even 10, I don't know, the small percentage that were developing their science and such, it must have just been really something else to be around. So anyway, they're interesting, but yeah, sometimes I'm just like, what did you just say?
Right. The point is that we are not familiar of those. We hear all kind of stories. All kind of things happen to the people, incidents. And sometimes we can't relate with them.
Right.
Because it didn't happen to you or me or one of us.
Or it's out of your cultural
Yes,
norm.
also cultural, you're right. But the reality is that it is not, what is called, you cannot say that there is no possibilities.
Right.
If there is a spirit, we are all a spirit, we are all soul, right? We are all soul. Some are not very good and some are very super. And especially the people who are free from all those negative elements, the bad elements, they are in tune with those more often and more aware they are, and they can relate to them. They can relate to him because they have gone beyond the boundaries,
Mm.
beyond all the, what you call. The more you go in a deeper state of meditation, the more you become a higher spirit, means, and you are not controlled by any elements of the nature. Any spirit like a evil spirit or ghost, you may call it, and none of those things can ever bother you. You can fiercely, just like a person who is strong and tough, and we can go through the most deepest jungle, gone through, and they can be out. And especially in a deep meditation as you go, first of all the things that you are carrying on from life to life, there are so many things we are carrying on. And whatever you are carrying on, it takes over your life, right? And because you, for some time that you feel very comfortable about it, but later on you find out the secret and you say, no, that's not it. This is not what I want, It depends on every spirit, every soul. They all have their special journey, and we have been coming for thousands and thousands of times, So there are a lot of it in within us, So, but as you meditate and you become more in advanced state, and especially in samadhi, then you started to get rid of all the old bags and baggages completely, And so then you can relate to everyone, relate to God, relate to, all the spirits, everyone, and you can relate to them, and you can help them. That is one thing, that you will become more helpful, more facilitating, and getting them out of those state of mind, But first you have to be there. You can't just lecture them or, and it won't work. So yes, but meditation is such a powerful element that the more and more you become submerged into this, then more freer you become, more happier you become, less baggage you are carrying, and more getting rid of it, So it's really wonderful, like Tulsidas, he wanted to see Rama. Rama left his body how long ago? Tens of thousands of years ago, left his body. But yet he got the vision of Rama, Sita, and who helped to get the vision is the Hanuman. So you have to have a real guru. You have to have a real, a spiritual guide and can help. But it works for the both, if you are not ready and you have not committed to it, then you won't have that experience. You won't. You will make a slow progress, little progress, but not as you like, as much you want. So that requires commitment. That requires the devotion, dedication. So it's very, very important. But choice is ours, and how much we are willing to work. If you are very sincere, very committed, and you are practicing meditation regularly, and result is obvious. You will see the result. You will feel within yourself, and you will feel more free, more freer. No lust, no greed, no ego, no attachment, no anger, no frustrations, no misery, no sorrows, And you can attain that in this lifetimes. It's not that you have to wait for the next life, because next life what will be you don't know, right? But while you have these opportunities and you are capable, making sense? If you are capable and you can do it, why not? Why waste your time? Waste your energy? Like it says, the world is unreal and God is real. It's not a philosophy, it is not a, what you call some kind of good spiritual belief. You can believe in anything you want, but that won't do you any good. Actually, it will not reward you. But if you practice what you believe and you do it very faithfully, very honestly, very sincerely, then you will be rewarded. Just like you eating a nutritious meal can give you satisfaction, Not only satisfaction, it will also energize your being. Really, isn't that true? Mm-hmm. So same thing, this is when the mind is active, everything else is set up. When the mind becomes inactive, then the brain becomes active. Do you understand that? When the brain stops, then what becomes active? Your soul becomes active. And when your soul becomes active, then you realize God. Then you see God. But as long as your mind is active, you have not even started yet. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. As long as your mind is active, you are going to the rocking ride, what they call it? Roller coaster ride, Mm-hmm. So you go through that, and you have choice. You can go through that whole life, And whom you can blame? You can't blame anybody, and that won't do us any good. So you have to work on your mind. You have to work on your mind. And don't even worry about it. Just relax. It's like you're sitting near the ocean. What you do, you watch the waves of the ocean, right? Do you react to the wave? You get sucked by the wave? No, you're just watching it. And matter of fact, you are enjoying it, You're liking it, and you say, wow, that waves are so nice, so gracious, I really enjoy it, feel so relaxed. Similarly, once you stop going with your mind, playing all those games that mind plays, then you are sucked by the mind. And so you can't stop your mind, because you already been controlled by your mind. So what can you do? So this is what you have to do. You have to watch your mind. Don't react, just watch, and let it be wherever. Eventually the mind gets tired and it doesn't get attention, just like a child wants your attention and you don't give it. They're a little naughty child, and they do everything to distract you, right? But once you give in, then you lost it, But once you just watch and you want to throw the tantrum, go ahead, do it, But you can't get my attention by those means. You have to be a good child. So same with our mind, You have to train your mind. Now we have to train our mind to do what we want. Mind is not our master. We are the master, right? We own this body. We own the mind. We have all these, just like you have a car, if you use the properly, you have a good use, then the car is very beneficial. But if you misuse the car, then it's not beneficial. It can take you down. So same with our mind or emotions, And one of the unique thing about the meditation that as long you are meditating regularly and doing it your part, and keep doing it, eventually, sometimes it takes longer. Some people takes longer, other people get faster. Depends on how purified they are in their previous life, And so then you go into the next grade. But if you are starting in this life, then you have long wait, or you have a long work, So you are rewarded every time you do something good. You are rewarded, You make other people feel good, you feel good too, isn't it? If you love somebody, they also love you. You care somebody, they also care for you. And that happens with everything. You have to be nice. You have to be good. Not only for yourself, for everybody. Right? For everyone. So, this is when you do all these things, you have nothing to lose and nothing to worry. We all want worry-free life, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want any worries. We don't want any fear. We don't want any miseries. But wanting is one thing, and just doing something about it to get it, that's another thing. And that's work. Tell you the truth, it took me 50 years. I've been meditating for 50 years. It took me to get to where I am. And I'm glad. I'm really, really glad that I made very, very far, and got to this point that I feel more secure, more free, more peaceful, more calm, more serene, and other things does not have too much effect on me, Isn't that what you want? Isn't that we all want?
Mm.
Yeah. So your senses under control, your mind under control, and you are moving with all the force. You need all that. You need your mind. You need your senses. You need all the energy you can get, But to do that, you have to follow all these great masters has been such a big example. Look at the sacrifice that Jesus made, or Buddha. We have not even done this much, as much Jesus or Buddha made that, or even great yogi, even Rama, Lord Rama. Look at his life. We say our life is not that good, The life of Rama, he was born in the palace. Guess what? Where did he end up living? In the jungle, in other places, and even Sita and Lakshman, all of them. But they choose that. Sita chose that. Lakshman chose that. Nobody forced them. Even Rama was not forced, right? But they chose. And because they made that choice and they went through this vigorous austerities, I can call it, isn't it? Vigorous austerity. The royal personality living in a jungle where all the foresters, vicious animals and everybody there, And so such a hard discipline is not possible for ordinary person like us, But nevertheless, we cannot say that we can't take this opportunity to lead our life better, to make our spiritual goal accomplished, And if you say you can, yes, you can. If you say no, I can't. I'm not doing it. Okay. You made the choice. You made the choice. And you don't mind coming back and going through all over again and again and again and again. You can do that. Nobody forcing us anyway. We can do that. So this is really, really great opportunity. It is superb opportunity. And can you imagine, especially having a knowledge already? Half battle is done. I don't know which scripture you read, which teaching you follow. You find every single teaching, every single scriptures, every single great holy men of all tribes, they all have said it in all the scriptures. And this knowledge is most just like what Krishna said. It is the supreme science, supreme secret, extremely holy, very easy to practice and most enjoyable. Raj Vidya Raj Goyam Pavitra Vidvatum Partakshagamam Dharmam Susukamam Kartamabhyam. Krishna was the great, if you really want to get your life together, you need to study Bhagavad Gita. This is the best guide I found. The best. You should read it. No matter what question you have, what confusion you have, you can find the answer there. It is life's manual, Just like, they have a manual for cooking, the manual for driving, right? Manual for, all different projects. So similarly, life's manual is Bhagavad Gita. And maybe in the beginning you will not understand fully, but you keep reading, eventually you get the real meaning of it. And it is great guidance. You know, many people, Albert Einstein, you know, what is called, the Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, you know, many people have read that Gita. And it is a great manual for life. So yet, you should try. And it's great inspiration. Thank you very much.